we faced Brighton in the 4th round of the League Cup, which means we played them in the space of a couple of days in 2 different competitions, the Premier League and now the League Cup. Now last time out, obviously, we beat them in the league by 3-2. It wasn't the best performance in the world by any stretch of the imagination. We played our get out of jail card, no pun intended there, Maguire, and Brighton would be kicking themselves that they didn't get at least a point, if not a win, against us. You know, it was definitely a penalty kick in hindsight, you know, but the referee did blow his whistle at the end, so that should signal the end of the game. You know, we got fortunate, we got lucky. There's no other way you can describe it. It is what it is, but the history books will always say we beat Brighton by 3-2 in their own backyard, and that is the narrative that we have to stand by. And I think Brighton are going to change the whole 11. They did it in the last round, in the 3rd round, where they faced their deadly South Coast rivals Portsmouth and swept them aside with comfortable ease. And we're obviously going to make changes, obviously, because we've got a packed schedule coming up in the days and weeks to come. So let's get with the team news, shall we? I think everybody is available, with the exception of 1 or 2. So the team I'm going to pick. In goal, I'm going to put Romero in there. He doesn't deserve the treatment that Ole Gunnar Knobhead has given him. He has worked his fingers to the bone at Manchester United. He's the 2nd best reserve goalkeeper in the world. Nobody comes close, even a fraction, to Romero in all those regards. He's been a fantastic goalkeeper. He's been left out in the cold, and it shows Ole, you know, is a nasty man. You know, he is. You know, he's a con man. You know, what you see is not the real him. He's always to put on a show, and he's shown his true colours. But I knew that anyway. What Ole's like. He doesn't fool me. So Romero goes in goal for me, without question. He's better than Dean Henderson. There's no doubt about that. At right back, Wan-Bissaka was shocking against Brighton, so you should say he should get his punishment by playing in the Mickey Mouse Cup, as some call it. But I'm going to put Fusa Mensah there. You know, he didn't play too badly against Crystal Palace at home. He put an exquisite cross in, which Greenwood should have buried. You know, that was a gilt-edged miss, a miss-sitter, you know, from the Martial textbook, as he did against Sevilla. Miss-sitters that cost us the game virtually. So Fusa Mensah goes there. Centre-back positions is an interesting one. So the first centre-back I'm going to pick is Eric Bailly. He did what was asked of him against Luton, and this always happens, doesn't it? A player that fans adore and rim plays the way they played against the likes of Luton, and they go, oh, do you know what? We should pencil them in to play at the weekend. That's what top Reds always do. It's the nature of the beast where they're concerned, but we all know what they're like anyway, don't we? Well, I do anyway. So Bailly plays there. He should play in the cup games. He should not replace Lindelof, because Lindelof for me is the 2nd best defender we've got. Chris Smalling is the 1st, but he is deemed service to requirements, which for me is wrong in all at so many levels. So Bailly is going to partner at centre back Twanzebe. I'll put him there. I think he's had a little bit of, you know, match training prep to get over his injury, so I'm going to play him alongside Eric Bailly. Left back, it's a difficult one, this. We don't have a natural left back, or we don't have a good left back, which, you know, muddies the waters somewhat. So I have to go play Brandon Williams there. There's no choice there, unfortunately, but hopefully if we get Alex Tellers in at the time of this recording, we still haven't signed another player, so bear that in mind while you're watching this. So Brandon Williams goes there. Midfield 3, Matic needs a rest. I'm going to play McTominay. McTominay got a lot of stick, very unfair by the usual suspects, not naming names, but you don't need me to do that, we all know who they are. But McTominay is still a fantastic player. He never lets you down. He gives 100% in every single match. He's Darren Fletcher reincarnated. What you see is what you get. He is what he says on the tin. He's still a model professional. He doesn't do what Greenwood did, yeah, and broke social distancing rules. At least he acts his age. He acts mature. That's what you do, and that's why McTominay is brought up better in the Man United fold than Greenwood has been. Greenwood was led astray, some would say, but for me, on your head be it. Take responsibility for your own actions. You know, McTominay does not need me, you know, to say that he wasn't great against Crystal Palace. But he did make some fantastic interceptions, and it could have got a lot worse if he didn't make those interceptions. But I'm always a fan of Scott McTominay. I'll have nobody, you know, bearing down on him in the criticism stakes. But we all know again who those people are. But truth be told, it's irrelevant what people who don't support Man United think. A clue there as to who. But anyway, so that's how I'm going to pick McTominay. Fred, you know, people said he had a great game against Sevilla. I don't know what game they were watching. You know, they must have been in the magic mushrooms, because Fred, for me, another reason why we lost the semi-final, Matic should have started, just like Romero should have started ahead of David De Gea. They were left out in the cold, and Ollie paid the ultimate price for that because we lost. And that was a terrible decision to play Fred. He's not a defensive midfield player. He shouldn't be playing in that game. And if you're all honest with yourselves, you'll go to my way of thinking as well on that. So, McTominay, Fred, and also in that midfield area, I'm going to pick Pogba. I think Pogba still needs a little bit of match rhythm to get himself up to speed. You could say this should be punishment, like with Wan-Bissaka. So I'm going to play Pogba there, let him get the rustiness out of his system. He has had COVID. You have to take that into account. To my knowledge and what I know about it, it can affect your lungs, and it does, you know, affect the BNME community. So people need to bear that in mind and notice that this is a new disease that nobody knew before, well, in January really. Nobody knew about it. So you've got to cut him a little bit of slack. You have to. There's no way around that. You have to. But that doesn't mean his performance wasn't good enough. It was good enough against Brighton because he was taken off. But yeah, it is what it is. So at the winners, I'm going to play up front Ighalo, because we don't have anybody else really to pick from. I thought he was appalling against Luton. You know, channeling his inner Lukaku. You know, bizarre why he's still at Man United. And it's funny, isn't it, doing an Nigel Farage there, that Top Red was celebrating, they were salivating at the prospect. Oh, we've cornered the Nigerian market, the first Nigerian to play for Manchester United. And now they're saying the same thing as me, that Ighalo is not good enough. Never has been, never will be. And he was not the first choice of Man United. Let's be honest about it. Josh King, but we couldn't pay the fee in the last dying embers of the transfer window. So you've got to take that into account as well. So on the wins, Dan James is going to play, I think, and Jesse Lingard. You know, Dan James, he's linked with a move to Leeds. For me, that's a load of rubbish. He's not going to go to Leeds. Ollie's not going to give up on Dan James after a year. He wanted him. He was one of his targets in the summer. Paid 15 million for him. And he's not going to let him go to Leeds. And Ollie is alienating him. Now, Dan James should be playing, right, on the left. When Gareth Bale was substituted against Finland, Dan James took the mantle and he created the one and only goal we got, right across the face of goal, and Kiefer Moore there, the Welsh Fellaini as I call him, put it in the net. So we took the mantle from Gareth Bale. And Gareth Bale would have done that 10 years ago, like Dan James did in the age he is now. So that's going to be my starting 11. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Manchester United victory, but anything could happen in this game, you know, as the game at the weekend suffice. So yeah, that's the way it is, and that's the end of this video.